What's going on, everyone? I am live. This is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We already have 10 people waiting. What's going on, everyone? And I am joined by my good friend, Rodrantz. Used to be Rodrantz on Star Wars. Now he just Rodrantz on everything. Are you ready for the show, Rhodes?
I am ready. We got audio coming from everywhere right now.
I think that's on your end, man.
If it was, it's gone. So,
yeah,
how's everybody doing?
Yeah, I heard it a little bit myself. So
I was like, where's that coming from?
Yeah, I know. If you guys wouldn't mind smashing that thumbs up button, that's going to help YouTube know that we're out here, and hopefully we'll get more people in here. I already see we have Crime Sweepers web series, Rampager Ben in the chat. They were here before the live stream started, but we appreciate you guys. Looks like
a couple of them sound like serious business.
Yeah, man. Yeah. A couple of them I'm not too happy about. But one of them asked Star Wars question here. The only way I'll go see episode 9 if Anakin comes back and kills the Emperor. Well, I guess you may be kind of disappointed based on these leaks. And we can talk a little bit about
they better be wrong.
Yeah.
They better be wrong.
Yeah. We can talk a little bit of Star Wars too, but we're going to be talking some Terminator here. We're going to kind of dive into all this juicy stuff that's going on with Terminator. And it's not sounding good, man. Not sounding good. I think there's been so much stuff behind the scenes that have just made this movie sound so bad. It's a movie that should have never been made.
Tim Miller sort of pulled a Rian Johnson on us and then just deuced out. Like, see ya, I burnt your franchise, man. I'm out. Bastards.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed off at him right now.
Yeah. But you know what? He went Rian Johnson before the movie came out. You know what? Ever since the numbers for this movie have come out, haven't heard a thing from him except I'm done. That's pretty much.
That's true.
And thank goodness. If he just says nothing else, you know, that whole misogynist thing that he talked about months ago, well, his chickens are coming home to roost now. That did not help this movie get anybody to watch it.
And he's got some time to not, in other words, his response later to this is going to determine whether or not he gets full Rian Johnson treatment.
Yeah.
In other words, if he's like, you know, if he comes out and he's like, well, it ain't my fault a bunch of men hate a bunch of women on the screen. You know, if he starts pulling that crap, then he's going to be in a bind. Now, if he comes out and says, I hate that the movie didn't resonate with people, maybe we should have went in a different direction, blah, blah, blah. In other words, if he does sort of what we've heard, if he's responsible and does the Zack Snyder thing, where Zack has been very good with DC fans,
yeah,
both good and bad, then great. We don't like the vision you came up with, but at least you owned it. Whereas Rian Johnson hasn't owned a damn thing.
So, no, there's a complete difference between Rian Johnson, Tim Miller, and Rian Johnson. Here's the main difference. Let's start with man, I forgot his name already.
James Cameron?
No, Zack Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
Zack Snyder, a lot of people didn't like Justice League, even though we probably didn't really see his movie. But that's another story, so I digress on that. A lot of people didn't like Batman versus Superman. But he accepted the criticism, didn't say nothing. So if he actually wanted to come back and develop another DC movie, I'm not going to bash him for it. Now we get to Rian Johnson. I have nothing good to say about him whatsoever. The man made a terrible movie, started calling you racist and sexist as soon as the movie came out, and there was a little bit of feedback, and it was in a negative way. And he has not stopped yet. Now his chickens are coming home to roost too, because nobody wants to deal with him except the shill media. Even they're kind of turning their backs on Star Wars too now.
Quite a few folks are
Yeah.
starting to change their tune.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we get Tim Miller talking about misogynists like 2 months before the movie comes out. And nobody said, I mean, people did kind of, they had the whole calling Grace like the LGBT 1000 or something like that. I heard that. But she was about one of the few good points in the movie.
Arguably, she was the best thing in the movie for me.
Yeah.
Really. Her
Even
performance.
Now, still, the movie was garbage to me. Rose thought it was okay. But
it was okay in a vacuum as an action movie. Was it so okay as a Terminator movie? No, not great. No.
No.
I said it was comparable to a run-of-the-mill sequel to the Fast and the Furious. Not even the good ones, like the later ones, but more like Fast and the Furious 3 Tokyo Drift, which was terrible. I mean, it was a crappy, decent action movie.
Okay.
And that's what Terminator came.
So to you, just for an action flick, it's okay. But
it's okay.
As far as the Terminator movie is bad.
It's got a poor story to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard you.
I was like, I'm entertained, but the first 3 minutes sucks, and I had to kind of shift that off to the side so I could watch the rest of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Jeremy Johns in his review said, if you're able to remove the first 3 minutes and put it aside, he said some people are going to enjoy the movie as an action movie. And that's sort of kind of how I consumed it. Now, in fairness, did it soften the blow because I knew that was coming? I was prepared for it and knew it happened. Okay, going into it. So, I guess I was like, well, I knew that was coming, so I might as well move on with the movie at this point.
Right.
Was it better than Genesis? Oh, yeah. But again, it wasn't nowhere close to, well, I don't know. I actually kind of thought it was more entertaining than Rise of the Machines, but by like a hair, maybe.
I'm going to say this. I'm saying that it is better than Genesis, but man, the case for Genesis is getting better by the day when I think about it. And Genesis was horrible. But
maybe I need to watch Genesis again. I've only seen it one time.
Maybe I need to watch it again too. But they didn't try to assassinate John Connor in cold blood right at the beginning of the movie. And that movie wasn't SJW. Terminator Dark Fate was woke. I mean, Tyro Madness said it was woke. Man, did you see Hey Vib's video?
I knew she went off on it, but
you have to see. She put up one yesterday. I watched it today. It was about how woke culture destroyed Terminator. And man, she was right on the money. She's a big Terminator fan. Huge Terminator fan. Real quick, we have NT Bird here. Yover Rhodes, 19K Fox is here. Says, what's up, gentlemen? Thunder Terminator Dark Shite is here.
Can you highlight that name, please? That's my favorite name going in the community right
now. John Matrixx, I just tweeted Gabriel Luna, and he said that I enjoyed his Rev 9. He didn't deserve this flop. Now, the Rev 9, I know you didn't like him. I thought he was okay. He wasn't no T-1000, I can tell you that. He wasn't Robert Patrick, but I think he did a decent job.
Straight trash, homie.
Yeah.
But part of that is I thought Marcus Wright, Sam Worthington, was great in Salvation.
Yes, he was, man.
Okay.
I got to tell you, man, post T2, Marcus Wright is my favorite Terminator.
Oh, yeah. Even no question.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, man, I did not like Family Man T-800 in this movie. Marcus Wright, man, I wish they could have did more, but I found out something about Terminator Salvation the other day that I did not know. And I commend Mick G, and those guys for doing this. Initially, the plot leaked out about what they were doing with John Connor at the end of that movie. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I'm gonna tell you this: John Connor was supposed to be killed at the end of Terminator Salvation, and they were going to put his face over Marcus Wright because they thought that the symbol of John Connor was more important than John Connor. And it leaked out. The backlash was huge, and they changed the ending to where John Connor lives. I'm so glad they did that.
Me too, because that would have ruined the entire movie for me.
Yeah, that would have ruined the movie.
When we did our top 10 most underrated movies, I think that movie was number 3 or number 2 for me.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere up there. It was somewhere up there for me too.
Yeah.
It was a very underrated movie. And I remember when check this out. I remember when T3 came out. I think people have revisionist history about T3. The reviews are actually good for T3 when it came out. And I think over time, don't get me wrong, it wasn't Terminator 2, great reviews or anything like that. But it was better than what people remember.
I enjoyed it much more 20 years ago than I do. I watched it like last week before the new movie came out, and I was like, yikes. Was like, it seemed like I enjoyed this a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, it T2 holds up much better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just there's some things in T3 where you're like, this feels a little bit on the low budget side right now. I mean, I don't know. It just didn't feel nearly as large as T2 did. It was a much more condensed story. And I hated the Terminator in that movie. Like, hated it.
Yeah.
Like her and Gabriel Luna can have a celebrity death match for the worst Terminator.
Yeah. Hey guys, we got 30 people watching. Can you guys drop in the chat? Have you seen Dark Fate? And what did you think of the movie? Was it either good or bad? Just put good or bad in the chat. That way we kind of get an idea of what the people watching feel about this movie. Just good or bad. So I will tell you this though. From a visual effect standpoint, Terminator Dark Fate is the worst when it comes to how good the CGI was and the visual effects. It looked like trash.
Shoddy.
Yes. I like that. I like the look of Terminator Salvation. Now, I do wish they would have went to like that kind of like dark blue color like in the original 2 for the Future Wars, but I didn't mind the gray look to it. I watched I can't remember which channel it was. They did a review on Terminator Salvation, and the visual effects in that movie look really good. Really good.
Yeah.
The problem is with these new Terminator movies, the reason we all know that the movies have been pretty bad the last 2. They're not making money. But one of the major reasons they're not making money, these budgets are out of control, man. Way out of control. I don't know what kind of estimates they're actually thinking they're going to make at the box office. But going in, even when James Cameron came back, I was thinking, okay, maybe this movie can make $500 million. Why would you have an almost $200 million budget on this film? It makes no sense. I mean, you guys in the chat, do you think that's just insane that they would actually have a budget that high? 185. I mean, Star Wars The Force Awakens 4 years ago, I don't think they had a budget that high. Maybe they did.
Well, not only that, but look at how big The Force Awakens felt as a movie versus how small this movie felt.
Yeah,
That's so weird. Like, how did that happen exactly?
yeah.
I mean, what did y'all spend? Did you spend $45 on a toilet seat?
Yeah.
$60 on a hammer?
And this is what some people are saying right here. Drew Bob Pinky, no, I refuse to see it. Rampager Ren, nope, I skipped it. I only saw the John Depp scene on YouTube. That's it. Man, I can't believe that scene got out before the movie. Crown Sweeper says, no, I never watch it. Let's see here. Sarah Connor TV series was epilogue of T2 and the real Dark Fate story. That was a good TV show. They pulled the plug on that TV show way too fast. Way too fast. Man.
I still have not seen it. Actually.
Oh, that was a really good TV show.
I heard it was good.
And they borrowed some stuff from that TV show. I believe with the Carl T800, like him being married. I think one of the Terminators in the show was married, but also the Terminators in that TV show had more of a personality, which actually made them more good at infiltrating. Like the main bad guy in the TV show was named Cromartie. He was a good infiltrator. And the new Arnold Terminator was played by what's her name? Summer Glau. She played the Terminator called Cameron, who was protecting John Connor. She had a personality because when you watch that first episode, you didn't even know that she was a Terminator at first, because I didn't really see the marketing or anything. I just started watching the show, and she had this personality. She was in class with John Connor, and she kind of had me fooled at first, but she was the Terminator. All right.
I've got that on my watch list right now.
It's 2 seasons, man.
One thing I liked about Salvation, they were kind of innovative with some of the things that they did. Like they had the really cool motorcycle Terminators. You remember that?
Yeah, the Moto Terminators. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they had those really cool underwater, like serpent Terminators, that Marcus Wright saved John Connor from when they came out of the river. Yeah. Marcus Wright just showed up and saved John Connor.
I think they called them Hydrobots.
Yeah. And I really appreciated that sort of thing showing, and it was practical effects, and I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now some of the like the T-700s, like when he was fighting on that helicopter, that was actually, man, it looked like it wasn't CGI, but they had a stuntman like dressed up in kind of like a green screen type of suit, and they put him in. And some of the close-ups, it was an actual model.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that looks really good. I just don't understand why that movie didn't get as much love. I'm not saying it was perfect. It was flawed.
Sure,
but
it had
flaws. But I think that's the direction a lot of people really wanted with Terminator going forward. Because that's what I'm hearing now. People that don't like this movie, they're saying they wanted more Future Wars.
They've got to, if they're going to come back and do it, I've said now, you've got to walk it way back. Take it way back to what the original Terminator was. Mm-hmm. Turn it back into a sci-fi horror movie and shoot it on a $50 million budget.
Yeah.
Make it a small character-driven movie. Michael Biehn and Linda Hamilton had all those great character interactions in that movie that made you gravitate towards those two characters, Kyle Reese, Sarah Connor, and take a page out of the Joker. Look at the Joker, walk it back, and the other thing is, if you're going to make these movies, is there something wrong with casting a male A-list star in these movies?
In the role of John Connor?
Yeah. I mean, Christian Bale was perfect.
Christian Bale was the only one.
Yeah, but like I think one of the failures of Genesis was part of it was casting.
I mean, Jason Clarke, he's a good actor.
He is no box office draw to nobody.
No, but he's
Nobody.
like a number 2 actor, I would say. Not a A-list,
Right.
I would say. Yeah.
Get an A-list
Yeah.
actor in there, you know?
Yeah. And Rampage Arena, I agree with you. Cromartie was the best one. I'm telling you, Rose, when you watch Sarah Connor Chronicles and you get to the end of season 2, because it's only 2 seasons, and you get to that last episode of season 2, you're going to be pissed that they canceled that TV show.
Well, that's kind of why I haven't watched it, is because I heard people they'd watch it and they'd get to the end, be just furious.
Well, I mean, for one thing, they do the time travel thing right in that TV show. Dark Fate, man, the time travel was a mess because that T800 should not be existing. If the Carl T800 is still around 3 years after T2, then Skynet should be around. There should be no Legion. It should be Skynet, because even when they go up to the cabin, Carl says, yes, I'm a T800 Cyberdyne Systems Model 101. Wait a minute. Hold on. There is no Cyberdyne. And there's no Skynet, so you shouldn't exist. I mean, who made this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they didn't even care about anything with this movie. It made absolutely no sense.
Yeah, when you make in-games time travel look good,
yeah,
you've done something wrong.
Yeah,
and I like in-game.
I like in-game too, but it was a complicated time travel thing. I mean, time travel. You have to be very careful with time travel. I mean, pretty much the only movie that's ever got time travel completely right is Back to the Future. Perfect. It wasn't overcomplicated. Dark Fate just really they kind of danced around the timeline a little bit. Like Sarah at the beginning says Skynet sent multiple Terminators back. Was she just referring to the T1 and T2 Terminators? Was there more in between there? I mean, it was. Then she says that Carl showed up from a timeline that didn't exist. And I was like, man, really?
How did that happen?
Yeah. And he shows up 3 years later. I mean, and then that Carl Terminator, he kind of knows what's going on with, I guess that's Legion sending other Terminators back from events that happened before Dark Fate. And he says divergence in the timeline. He's able to predict when these Terminators come back in time. Nah, man. No.
I don't know, man. It's funny because they make these movies and they act like the audience has got this really low IQ. Yeah, I was looking at that. Go for it, John.
I'm gonna try it in a trailer voice. I guess I got the right microphone for it here. Edward Not Furlong. It's John Garner. Written by the Six Stooges. Produced by Smurf Cameron. And directed by that guy that was fired from Deadpool 2. Terminator Dark Bait. In theaters November 1st.
Sounds like a porno.
Yeah. Oh, man. This is funny, man. Oh, man.
I have not read any of those Dark Horse Terminator series. I have not read.
Yeah.
A couple of Alien versus Predator things I've checked out.
Let me ask you this, man. What are your most disappointing movies this year? For me, I'm going to say Glass is definitely up there.
You know, I've got that and still haven't watched it.
Dude, don't watch it. Don't watch it,
I've
man.
got to. I've been waiting. I can't believe I keep forgetting. I've been so busy working with YouTube. I forget. I've just got it sitting here. And it was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and I haven't seen it yet. I heard the ending's going to piss me off.
Yes. But I'm going to tell you this, man. Dark Fate is worse than that movie.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
And Glass is not good. Now, I don't know how many movies I've actually went to see this year.
I can tell you my most disappointing one as of right now. Spider-Man Far From Good.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to check it out.
Yep, it was in my top 5 most anticipated
Yeah.
movies of the year, and it sucked balls.
Yeah. Disney Plus comes out next week, so I haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, and I haven't seen Captain Marvel, and I wasn't gonna pay to see Captain Marvel, but I might as well just
Captain
say it now.
Marvel's better than Spider-Man.
Now
Something went
now that's bad then,
something went
'cause
amiss. Something it was more entertaining than Spider-Man
wow.
from
So
an
far
enjoyment level. Like, I got Spider-Man at a 5, and I got Captain Marvel at like a
mhm.
6.25, 6.5.
Uh-oh.
Considerable difference.
Uh-oh. Spider-Man Far From Good? It was okay. That's what somebody else says.
Straight trash, homie.
Captain Marvel has wooden acting. I
She
don't know.
outacted Jake Gyllenhaal's punk ass. He ruined Mysterio. I love Mysterio.
Yeah,
He
I heard he
blew.
wasn't that
Hey,
good.
there's some YouTubers out there slurping Gyllenhaal. I
Mm,
don't get it. Okay, fine.
yeah. Um, so Tim Miller says that they had plans for other Terminator movies, but it's gonna pretty much be James Cameron and he won't be back to do anything with it. Now, I'm not sure how the rights have really worked because October this year, all the rights reverted back to James Cameron because of like copyright laws and stuff like that. And apparently, I mean, this whole copyright thing and who owns what now is very, very complicated. But Tim Miller says he's not coming back. And I think part of the reason why Dark Fate was such a flop and disappointment is I don't think Tim Miller and James Cameron got along at all. I think their working relationship was very, very toxic from what I'm hearing. They couldn't agree on almost anything. They were clashing back and forth. And, you know, Cameron was talking about how Robert Rodriguez, he worked with him on Alita Battle Angel and everything was smooth. And that movie was really good. Tim Miller, Dark Fate, not so much.
How about I'm not real happy with James Cameron on this one either. I'm
No,
just,
no, he
you
deserves
know,
blame. I mean, it was his
yeah,
idea to kill John Connor.
I'll tell you why. If for no other reason, your ass was all over the marketing, blowing this movie for the last 6 months, and then it comes out and it's, ugh, stop it. We watched you do it with Genesis, and that was trash. Then this comes out and it's,
Yeah.
James Cameron, stop it. I mean, you're doing all this for some back end money.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I don't blame him for taking the money, but
you can't direct it and you can't write it in full. Don't do it. Don't be involved. And then we can say, well, James Cameron wasn't involved. Hey, you made a point to tell everybody you was involved in this.
yeah. And he lied about John Connor, about Edward Furlong being in the movie. Edward Furlong was not in this movie. It was Jude Colley played a young John Connor, and they did a digital recreation that actually looked really, really good, to tell you the truth. And they put it over his face. And then they blew John Connor to Kingdom Come.
With the Commando Terminator.
Yeah, he did. And you can tell that they
Terminator.
they said that was supposed to be the same guy from Genesis that played the young T-800 Arnold in that movie. But you know that Arnold in his prime, he had that huge back and V skull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He didn't look like that in this movie. In that, I mean, just a little bit of scene. I mean, that's nitpicking to tell you the truth, but his back was, I want to say, smaller than Arnold in his prime. The proportions weren't the same.
He walked up and I was like, it's John Matrixx. What is he doing?
Yeah. Brett Azar. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he did look like John Matrix from Commando.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was the haircut.
We're all good.
Yeah, maybe he was maybe that's what they inspired it from. Because, you know, Linda Hamilton said that she wasn't in that scene. They had just a stand-in doing it. Arnold wasn't involved with that scene. So it wasn't the actors. So usually when they do this de-aging thing, usually they'll have the real actors there, and they'll have them with this head thing on to capture their facial expressions and de-age them. That wasn't the case. They had other actors to do that.
Okay, if you get somebody to write a good movie,
Mhm.
if you want this thing to make actual box office, your boy Rian brought up who you cast in the Terminator movie, and it'll make all the box office. Slam dunk.
Who?
It would drive you nuts, but it'd make money, I guarantee you, because that's who they brought in to resurrect the Fast and the Furious franchise, and it started making $1 billion. The Rock.
You know how I feel about The Rock.
I know, but he is this day and time Arnold. That is who he is.
Now, I can see him. I can tell you what, man. I think he could actually do a really good job playing a Terminator, a bad guy Terminator. He has the body for it, and he can look intimidating. I would love to see him do that.
See, I'd like to see him do a good Terminator, a la T2, the Protector Terminator.
But I think Arnold's pretty much got that on lock, even though I don't think we really need we don't need any more Terminator movies anymore. And I don't think that we need Arnold anymore doing this either. I mean, this is what I heard, man. You know, he wanted to make the Legend of Conan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that they were looking at Terminator to kind of justify if they were going to make the Legend of Conan or not. And, you know, this movie kind of bombed here.
Right.
So I think they kind of walked away from that. But I think Arnold really wants to make that movie. And to tell you the truth, man, it can't be any worse than Conan the Destroyer. That movie, and you know what? That movie's terrible, but I like watching Conan the Destroyer. I mean, because that was prime Arnold right there, man. I mean, guys, I used to watch everything Arnold Schwarzenegger. Every single movie. I was Arnold Schwarzenegger worshiper.
Red Sonja, Raw Deal. Yeah.
Red Sonja was terrible, but I love watching it because he was in it.
Yeah.
He was in it.
Yeah, the horrible Raw Deal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Arnold is my favorite actor of all time, man.
What's the one with Belushi that I love? Red Heat?
Red Heat, man. I love that movie.
I do too.
I love that movie. Arnold is an acting god, man. I mean, everything that he's been. I mean, I stole the man's name for the channel. Well, his movie name anyway.
And the reason I bring up The Rock, and I know Chubby Teddy doesn't want to see it, but the thing about it is, this is where I think they overthink action movies these days. We want to see the top action star, just like Arnold was, against insert miscellaneous alien, predator, Terminator here. That's what we want to see. They had that stuff right back in the 80s and the 90s.
The problem is, who is really the best action star right now?
Then cast Rock as the good one and put Jason Statham as the bad Terminator.
The problem is, you know, Hollywood, they're making a whole bunch of comic book movies. I think that's your new action movies per se. Now,
I like a good comic book movie, but it's not the same thing. It's not.
Now, somebody, NC Bird says Conan the Destroyer is better than Conan with Jason Momoa. Now, would you like to see Jason Momoa as the Terminator?
A good Terminator, yeah. I've kind of headed down the road of I want to see a sort of leaner bad Terminator. Okay, maybe because of Robert Patrick, a Luke Evans maybe might make a good bad Terminator. Somebody like that. I've been trying to brainstorm who would be a good bad Terminator. You know,
yeah,
somebody out of the box. Colin Farrell as a bad Terminator. I think he could be nuttier than a fruitcake as a bad Terminator. He could be really cool.
Yeah. La Midi de Voix. Hi from France. Parlez-vous français, Rhodes?
We're going international.
Yeah.
With Matrixx and Road Rants.
Yeah. My Spanish is better. I speak better Spanish than French.
You
And
want
I lived in Louisiana for a lot of years, and people speak French over there. Cajun French, but I still don't understand it.
oh, great call in the chat.
Who?
Chubby Teddy says, "How's Thomas Jane aging? He could be cool." Good God. I don't know why Thomas Jane wasn't the star of the last Predator movie instead of Boyd Holbrook. Instead, Thomas Jane took a character actor backseat job in that movie.
You really think Thomas Jane could have made that Predator movie better? That movie was awful.
Well, but my point is he should have at least starred in it.
Yeah. Well, that movie was worse than Dark Fate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact.
It was by far worse than Dark Fate.
Yeah.
I think we got a record amount of people in here watching now. We have 42 people watching. That's a record. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for showing out, folks.
Yeah. Oh, and one other thing here. Also, well, keep going, Rose. I'm trying to pull up something here. Hold on.
I saw one. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Terminator? No, I don't think so.
A bad Terminator.
I don't see him as any Terminator.
Tom Hardy is interesting. But he's interesting. That's not too bad. And he's a box office draw. Yeah. Turdminator does not consider Dark Fate as canon.
I don't either.
Olivia Munn is 2019's Megan Fox on Predator. I got to give Olivia Munn a pass for anything she feels like doing. She's a dog lover and she's super hot, so she gets a pass.
Oh, our boy Spinal Tap is here in the house. What's up, sir?
Y'all go subscribe to Snoke.
Yeah, make sure you go and subscribe to him. And anybody that wants to support the channel, I dropped the links to my merch store. I have this Not Woke, Not Broke shirt. That's there in the store. And I think I got 6 other designs and we got more coming. So if you want to help support the channel, we have merch. Also in the description, you'll see links to Patreon, $1 a month. Whatever you want to do to help support the channel is very much appreciated. All right. So, that's a good one here. Summer Glau was a good actress from Terminator. Yes, she was. She's in that Sarah Connor Chronicles. I can't believe you haven't seen it, man. You really got to see it. It's
on
really
my watch list. Now, the problem is I'm behind on Arrow right now, so I've got to hurry up and catch that up because Crisis is coming.
Yeah, I'm going to watch Arrow tonight. I'm all caught up. I watched Flash last night. That
How's
episode.
the season of Flash going, by the way?
It's not bad.
Is it better than last season?
It's too early to tell.
Okay.
But I can tell that I was kind of frustrated with Arrow so far. But I think the end of the last episode, because I don't like the future with the kids and all that. It's kind of stupid. And then something happened at the end of last episode. I think that's going to kind of set up the rest of the season and why they were showing all those kids. So, because I didn't like that last season, all the future stuff. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't like I thought I was going to like the future Flashes, but I don't really. The Flash ups.
Yeah. Princess 2 Warrior. Young John Connor being killed equals no Kyle Reese being sent back to 1984 equals Sarah Connor being killed by the T-800 in 1984. Well, I think their point was that, yeah, you're right. There is no Kyle Reese being sent back. But Sarah Connor, there's no Skynet. That's the whole point now. And their Legion wasn't worried about Sarah Connor at all. They're worried about Danny Ramos for a reason that I don't get. Because when you watch Dark Fate, they say that, yeah, she's a future leader, but they established nothing about her in the future to how she leads. Like Terminator 1, we know that John Connor led them to victory. The defense grid for Skynet was destroyed. And Kyle Reese gave you a lot of information on John Connor in the future. We really got nothing about Danny Ramos in the future, except, oh, she's the future. That's it. And when they show her in the future with that in that scene where she has the cornrows, that scene was so badly acted, so badly directed. It was not believable whatsoever that she was the leader. I was thinking to myself, they replaced John Connor for this. I mean, that it was that bad, guys. I mean, it was really that bad. I was so disappointed.
It hurt the movie. I guarantee you.
It destroyed the movie. And Christian Harloff, he was disappointed in that scene too.
What do you think about the other idea they threw out? Because I thought it was intriguing. He said that they put on the table the idea of John Connor living and being in the movie, and the movie would take place with him living a normal life, and then all of a sudden the Terminators show up and he's thrust back into warfare.
Yes, that's what they should have did, because it would have made complete sense. You know why? Skynet is destroyed. All right, Judgment Day is just postponed. And James Cameron even said, no matter what, and I agree with him on this, no matter what, you can kill off Skynet, but technology is going to keep improving. We're going to keep making machines. All right, something's going to keep going. But if John Connor was living a normal life, that would make sense since Skynet was destroyed.
Yeah, and
So
he
we
was
think.
thrust back into the story, and he wasn't prepared for it. So the warfare is not only, it's chaotic from all angles. He's trying to get all of his young training back that Sarah had given to him,
Yeah.
because he'd be a grown 40-year-old damn near.
I would have liked this storyline.
And
He's living a normal life, quote unquote, but have him like in the military, something like that. And he's still preparing.
It was going to be, he was going to be like, literally, I'm living like I'm a stockbroker kind of guy. And then, oh shit, I'm thrust back into this life out of nowhere because I was supposed to be able to move on.
Or they could have did this. John Connor, maybe him and Sarah, they kind of still kind of waiting for Skynet to show up, but they go completely underground, new identities, new names, and then they move somewhere, and they're just waiting for Judgment Day to come because they don't know. They know that they can't stop Judgment Day from coming. So John Connor is completely off the grid, kind of similar, I guess, to the way Terminator 3 was, but except he was still living as John Connor.
Right.
But he can change his name to Joe Smith or something like that. And he's living underground, preparing for Judgment Day, because Judgment Day is inevitable, something like that.
And by the way, Tim Miller thought that was a boring story, and he didn't want it to uninteresting to him.
Yeah. Our boy Dog is here. What's up, Dog? They find him on Oct 2. Oh man, make sure you guys subscribe to Dog. He's a good friend of the channel here. And I see another person here. The chat jumped on me. Oh my goodness. The chat jumped on me. I don't know what happened. Oh, hold on. I have this new computer, so I'm trying to figure out how I can actually scroll up on this thing. I guess I would actually have to.
Carl Urban is a bad Terminator's an interesting choice too.
Carl Urban, I don't know. You
ever seen him as Judge Dredd?
No.
Yeah.
I actually never really got into the Judge Dredd movies.
The Boys. He's in The Boys.
I know he's in The Boys. He's really good in The Boys.
Yeah.
Now I could see him as like a future John Connor, like in a Future War, something like that.
Yeah,
he kind of has that feel. I can see him doing that role.
I think your problem there, if you get Carl, if you don't put him in the bad role, you're going to have an issue with box office again. Okay, because you need the A-lister to be the hero, John Connor.
Yeah. I don't think Terminator is going to sell without Arnold in the movie. But I would like to see this. I mean, James Cameron even talked about this angle, like him being like the person that inspired like the T-800. You know, like let's say they destroyed Cyberdyne, they destroyed the building, but Cyberdyne can always rebuild itself. So let's say that Cyberdyne is still operating, and he's the human inspiration for the T-800. Let's say he works for Cyberdyne as like Arnold has those great genetics. They're looking for like to make like this super soldier.
Yeah.
And they're going to use his genetics and DNA because let's just say he's a champion bodybuilder when he was young, that kind of thing. And that's how Skynet, that's why a lot of Terminators look like him, because honestly, they all don't look like him. I mean, Franco Columbo was in the original Terminator. That guy was, how tall was Franco? 5'8", 180, and that guy was huge. He was jacked.
He was
yeah, you know what I mean? They can use that kind of a storyline with Arnold as an old man, and he was the human inspiration for the T-800.
Franco was a hell of a deadlifter.
Yeah.
When I was powerlifting, that was my jam, was the deadlift, and yeah, I took a lot of clues from Franco.
Yeah. I'm broke, but I ain't woke. Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's why I got not woke, not broke.
Chubby Teddy, way up in the chat, said Rhodes t-shirts of Join the Road Squadron. They are coming. I started designing them 2 days ago.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get one of those.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, if you're red leader, the letters will be in red. If you're gold leader, they'll be in gold. And
what am I? I know you have teal leader
on the front. I don't know.
You never gave me one.
No, you're kind of like Chewie. I mean, you're not really in a hex wing. You're just flying around in the Falcon, and and I'm Han, by the way. I'm not fucking Ray. So just throwing that out there to everybody to make sure that they don't get confused.
Right.
I mean, I could go politically correct and be like your Lando, I guess. Jesus.
Oh man.
Oh, funny.
And guys, make sure you guys subscribe to Road Trance. I just put his
Road
channel.
Squadron.
Yeah, but just put his channel in the chat. Can you drop one for us? Can you do your WWE Join the Road Squadron one time?
Want the whole thing or what?
Yeah.
I'm back. Road Rants on Star Wars. If you like this video,
wait. Time out. We're doing we don't Terminator, man.
Okay, I can do a Terminator.
All right, do the Terminator.
Start from the top. Okay.
Yeah, you got to start from the top.
I'm back. Road Rants on the Terminator. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Join the Road Squadron.
I think you just blew somebody's ears out. And we just dropped 10 people watching. Thanks, Rose.
Literally?
Yeah, we did.
That's funny.
Well, I don't know if I think we dropped like 5 people. That's fine though.
They were all listening on headphones and was like, "Oh Jesus!"
Yeah. Oh, Star Wars question here. John Matrixx, have you heard about the raid leaks in Star Wars 9? It's an insult to Luke. Of course, we have heard about that. Woke culture is destroying Star Wars. It's destroying Terminator. It's destroying everything. I think the leak that he's talking about is how she pretty much just hijacks the Skywalker name at the end of episode 9. And Mike Zero covered that today on the video, man. I think Mike Zero is on Phantom Menace now.
He's going full Phantom Menace.
Yeah, oh man, he is like going savage on Disney Star Wars right now. He even said that after Last Jedi and Solo, he's like, man, I was kind of out on it.
He tore Brie Larson's ass up in a video yesterday.
Several videos. Yeah. Several videos. He said he does not like Brie Larson. But pretty much, I mean, this is more just lazy writing right here. somebody supposedly asked Ray, what's her name at the end of Rise of Skywalker, and she says Ray Skywalker, even though she's supposed to be a Palpatine. And it sounds like something that Disney would do. They would just take the lazy way out of this because check this out. Ray doesn't have to work for anything. Everything's just given to her. You might as well just give her the Skywalker name. And I believe Mike Zero talked about this on his video. He said it would make more sense if Ben Solo adopted the Skywalker name. He became Ben Skywalker from Legends. That would make a lot more sense. But they're not going to do that. I think, what's your percentage on that leak being true?
Look, the very ending link with her taking the name, 95% true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing with her and Ben fighting Sidious together, that's 100% because we got the photo on that. 100%.
My biggest issue that I need, well, besides Lando and Chewie living, I need Anakin to be directly involved with the demise of Palpatine. It is a must-have.
But we're hearing nothing about that on Elites.
It's concerning, but somebody did point out the other day, if that's going to be in the movie, they're not going to let a soul know about it. So
yeah,
won't leak. Even Shiltastic Jason Ward the other day said that is the kind of thing that is not going to get out. No leaker's going to get a hold of that.
And that just tells me that Anakin just has a cameo, because you would only need Hayden Christensen to really kind of show up for a few days. And that's about it. So he's just going to have a cameo, if that.
Yeah, he's not going to, if he's in the movie, it's for 3 minutes.
Yeah. Even though the main saga is supposed to be about him, but Disney's doing something else.
That's fine. They'll reboot it with George's treatments here in about 3 years.
I hope not, man. I hope not. David Prevost, I threw my Blu-ray copy of The Force Awakens in a Goodwill bin not long after The Last Jedi. That movie seems to have a big effect on that. Now, let me ask you this, man. Since The Last Jedi greatly affected the way people think of The Force Awakens, since Dark Fate now is technically the sequel to Terminator 2, has it affected the way you view those movies now?
No.
For me, no.
Not a bit.
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
It's completely, I think it's almost like two different things, to tell you the truth. I mean, Disney has went out of their way really to destroy every single legacy character that George Lucas created. With Terminator, it feels different. Yeah, they killed John Connor, but they've had so many sequels that they try to reboot everything over and over again. That's not canon. Chances are they'll probably come out with something again and it won't be canon again. But with these Star Wars movies, the main saga, those things are canon easily. I mean, James Cameron can come back tomorrow and say, all right, Dark Fate didn't work out. We're going to pretty much ignore it, act like it's a bad dream, and we're going to make another sequel to T2. Because think of this, how many sequels have there been to T2? There was Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Mm-hmm.
Salvation was really a sequel to T3. Genesis, kind of like a reboot completely. And
wasn't it some alternate timeline crap or something thrown in there?
Yeah. And now you got Dark Fate, another sequel to Terminator 2. These Star Wars movies, that is the canon locked in stone.
Fernandez still, he said it again the other night. He swears up and down that Feige and George Lucas are making the sequel trilogy over. That he doubled down on it again.
You think so?
That's what Fernandez says. Now, he's talking to people, but he says, I think they're making George's treatments. that will be a new trilogy.
But that would mean that it's supposed to be a direct. It's supposed to be episode 7, 8, and 9.
Well,
It's not going to make any sense.
yeah, well, it would be a pseudo throw these three out.
Oh God! But you know that Disney is not going to do that.
Throw them out.
They're not going to do that though. Nowhere in the world Disney is going to retcon their sequel trilogy.
If you can't make any money off the merchandise, who gives a damn? Throw them out.
Yeah,
they bought that property for the merchandising. If they're not selling any toys, you better find a property that sells toys. If that means you have to redo the sequel trilogy, then you just got to redo it.
But look at the way, look at what Bob Iger said. Bob Iger is still delusional. He's still saying we put out too much too fast. But he wasn't saying anything when The Force Awakens made $2 billion. He wasn't saying anything when they followed up with Rogue One the next year that was a smash hit. He didn't say anything until Solo bombed because of The Last Jedi. But yet, don't believe what he says because check this out. You're getting a bunch of Star Wars movies. Star Wars stuff, I should say, after Episode 9. You're getting The Mandalorian. You're getting Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're getting Cassian Andor. You're getting the Clone Wars.
Wait
Too
a minute.
Too fast?
Hey, no. Click on Princess to Warrior.
Okay. Rose rants. All the Star Wars fans are boycotting Disney Star Wars. So are you wearing your Mandalorian hat ironically? Let me kind of address that first here.
Okay.
Star Wars fans, to me, this is my personal opinion. Star Wars in the movie theater, it's almost like it's a completely different company from the non-movie stuff because Kathleen Kennedy's hands are all over the movies. She has almost nothing to do with the Disney Plus stuff, Rebels, any of that stuff. Those movies are really what makes Star Wars the most money. So her hands are all in that. She even said she has nothing to do with The Mandalorian. And it's clear because Dave Filoni is in charge. He was in charge of Rebels. He's going to be a lot heavily involved in The Mandalorian. Clone Wars Season 7. The man is in charge of Ahsoka. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't even have control over Ahsoka. So it's almost like two different companies. Boycotting, I'm disappointed, but I'm not boycotting because me and Rhodes are media. So we're going to have to see the movie whether we like it or not.
Well, and let's be honest, how many creators do you know in the fandom menace that is boycotting the movie? Because I know very few.
No. Now, granted,
honest.
Granted, Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers did not go see Solo. John Talks did not go see Solo in the movie theater. Right. He eventually saw it. I think when it came out on digital.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jeremy actually saw it or not.
But Jeremy even said the other day, he was like, he thinks people will go see this movie, you know.
Yeah.
But it's been made very clear. Kathleen Kennedy, that project for The Mandalorian is Favreau and Filoni's baby.
Yeah.
Okay, that's theirs. If I can't support Favreau and Filoni, what's the point? Because if we don't support properties that do work, how are they ever going to know what to do?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
My criticism of Disney Star Wars is mainly strictly the Kathleen Kennedy-led stuff. The stuff on Disney Plus is not Kathleen Kennedy-led. Not at all. She's going to have her name on it as like executive producer. But she's been heavily involved in the creative process of the episode movies. When it comes to Rebels and all that, Kathleen Kennedy is like never even on the panels for that stuff. Like in Star Wars Celebration, she's only there on the main sagas. And then at that, she doesn't even know what's going on, really. I don't even think she knows what a Mandalorian is. I don't think she's ever heard of Mandalore, to tell you the truth.
What's a dark saber there, Kathleen?
Exactly. And honestly, doesn't it feel like two different companies to you?
Okay, let me pull the Rhodes Rants leak side of things out on everybody. Kathleen ain't been involved in shit in about 9 months. Just being honest. She's a spade cat in the building. She's not involved in anything. Okay. We got to remember, Iger offered the job to J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, he did. He did. And you remember after Last Jedi Backlash, you didn't hear from Kathleen Kennedy for like what 7-8 months.
She's a secretary at this point.
She went MIA, and now Bob Iger is pretty much just apologizing for everything that's going on. You would never hear him speak for Kevin Feige in that way. Kathleen Kennedy does not address any of this. Kevin Feige addresses MCU stuff. Kathleen Kennedy is almost like she is clueless on her job. Even Bob Iger is doing her job for her.
Even episode 9, the full creative control of that movie has been all J.J. Abrams. He worked the movie out of Bad Robot.
Yeah. Not in Lucasfilm
offices. Yeah.
And trust me, this is why this movie's going to be so bad, man. There's almost nothing to tell, really. I mean, based on the way The Last Jedi ended, there's nothing, man.
It was the ending movie of a trilogy in the middle film of a trilogy.
Yeah, there's no Han Solo. I mean, Force Ghost Luke. You really think they're going to let Luke have a big role in this movie? No way. Luke is going to do almost nothing in this movie. Nothing.
I've got the over-under on 5 minutes.
Somewhere around there.
Unless JJ is running the okey doke on us and Luke's back.
Luke is dead, man. He's not alive.
Is a possibility. But I've got the over-under on 5 minutes of screen time.
Now, do you think this movie is going to be worse than Dark Fate? Will it be? Well, let me ask you this. Will it be more of a disappointment than Dark Fate? That's a better question.
No.
It won't be as disappointing.
No.
Now, if Rey hijacks the Skywalker name and she takes out Palpatine, if those leaks are true, it's probably going to be worse than Dark Fate, because that's just assassinating everything about the OT and the prequels.
Then, yeah, there may be a different story. Yeah. If Anakin is not involved with the direct demise of Palpatine, we've got a serious problem. That's everything. Is it not? I mean, because it ties back into Return. We don't want Anakin's act at the end of Jedi to be, thrown away. If Rey, remember the leak I had, Rey beats Palpatine, singular, just her by herself with no involvement from. Now, there was a better leak where I actually kind of liked the leak where all the Force ghosts come back and kill Palpatine. That was better. I like that, but.
Oh, man. Terminator. That's a funny comment here. John Matrixx on Terminator. Midnight's Edge said there is now a trilogy of failed Terminator trilogies. Yeah. So, so Terminator Salvation was supposed to be a trilogy that got axed.
It's out of there.
Yeah. Terminator Genesis, that was supposed to be a trilogy that got axed. And now Terminator Dark Fate, that pretty much got axed. Not surprised, man. Simple, man. It's a simple thing, man. I know this is going to sound like a broken record, man. But when you get woke, you go broke. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Good storytelling first. Casting the actors and everything, that's second. Identity politics should be nowhere near movies. And you can tell clearly. I mean, Dark Fate, this is where we kind of knew that Dark Fate was going to fail. They put out that first Terminator photo. It got crushed. You had Grace, you had Danny Ramos, you had Sarah Connor. No T-800. No Arnold. If I am putting out this movie, I'm going to have a poster with Sarah Connor and Arnold Schwarzenegger only to kind of get the buzz. Only. Because these new characters now, I mean, in a way, they really did kind of disrespect the past, you know, the way the Force Awakens did. Arnold doesn't show up until an hour into the movie. I mean, the man is a fourth wheel in a Terminator movie. Think of that. He's a fourth wheel in a Terminator movie. Actually, really more of a fifth wheel because the Rev 9 got more screen time than him.
And it was shitty. That Rev 9 thing really irritated me. You have no idea. And why are the Terminator effects of the Terminator so shoddy looking?
Yeah.
Why do they look better in 91 than they do in 2019? Can somebody please explain that to me? Because it took me out of the movie.
And another thing too, man. Nobody talked about this, but you remember when the Rev 9 crashes into this guy's boat? The Rev 9 gets up and he says, "I'm sorry about your ship." I'm like, a Terminator's apologizing for destroying that guy's boat. I was like, really? Because remember they were playing that music from the bar from T2, a little nostalgia, and then he crashes into that guy's boat, and he apologized.
The whole thing's a shit show.
I mean, the T-1000 would never apologize. I don't even think Uncle Bob Terminator wouldn't even apologize. They made the most deadly Terminator ever apologize to that guy.
What did Robert Patrick say when he looked at that bike? He said, "Gee,
that's a nice bike."
That's a nice.
No,
bike.
no, he said, "Say, that's a nice bike."
Okay, perfect. That dude was. I think he's a top 10 villain ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and also Gabriel Luna's Rev 9. You know, he started talking to the those cops and everything about something I don't necessarily remember, but he pulled out his Texas accent, and he's actually from Texas. I think Gabriel Luna's from Austin. I think he's born in Austin, so he had that Texas accent at certain points in the movie. You didn't notice that? I noticed it.
Does Disney own any
Terminator? Yep.
Terminator,
because of Fox. The way it was, Skydance financed 30%, Paramount financed 30%, and Disney the other 30%. And the other 10%, I believe they said came from China or something like that. So all of them are losing money because when you get woke, you go broke.
So I'm hearing they're shelving into the vault some of the old Fox movies properties.
I heard that too. But you would think they would want to put that on Disney Plus, right?
Well, it makes you wonder, or could a Terminator series end up on Disney Plus?
No, because
if it's R-rated, they wouldn't.
Well, no, I don't think it's that. They don't have the distribution rights, I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. And plus, I think all the rights now with James Cameron now.
Yeah, but
it's kind of weird.
Distribute Avatar?
Yes, that was because that was a Fox property, but this movie was under Skydance, really. They were the main ones that had the rights. It wasn't Fox or Disney. They were just distributors of the movie. Because even when you go watch the movie, there isn't anything about Fox. It's Paramount. So I don't understand how all these distribution things work, but I do know that Disney had a role in that. But they're going to lose out. I tell you this, man.
Properties we grew up on. Everything.
This should be a wake up call for episode 9. Because we all know the Terminator Genesis was terrible. No doubt about it, episode 9 is going to make more money than Terminator Dark Fate. But as bad as Terminator Genesis was, they had to know they weren't going to make money off of this. As bad as The Last Jedi was, they have to know that episode 9 is not going to do the numbers they think.
I've got a theory on that too, because I've thought about this too a lot the last week.
And just for the record too, Dark Fate is better than Last Jedi.
Oh,
that ain't saying much.
Yeah. I mean, let's not the abomination of planet Earth, known as the Last Jedi. As much as I didn't, okay. I've got a theory that Disney Star Wars Lucasfilm has already assumed episode 9 is going to underperform at the box office.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Feige is involved, because they've already sort of swept past this. If you want to know the truth, at this point, I think they're a little bit like the fans. Can we get past episode 9?
Yes.
Because they've got good TV properties coming. They know it.
Mm-hmm.
They got Feige involved to do a movie. I think everybody's ready to move on from episode 9.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I predicted 900 million. You said 825 million. Oh man, who was it? Matt Jarbo said the movie's going to make somewhere around, check this out, 1.5 to 1.8 billion. No way that movie's getting close to 1.8 billion. I don't think so.
Even Campy and Harloff's down in the 1.
Yeah, I think they were saying like 1.3, 1.4 at the top end. I mean, they know the damage. I mean, Campia, he softened up on The Last Jedi. I remember at first he was like, "Oh, I love this movie. Love this movie." Now he says this is his least favorite, even though he likes it.
By the way, from an AMC Movie Talk perspective, how good was it to see them two back together?
Man, that was a really good show, man. I mean,
it was cool. It was very good. 3,300 people watching.
I was sitting at work and I had my headphones on, listening to it. So much better than Jedi Council, the way it's been the last few years. So much better.
Yep.
It's so good to see those guys back.
Good idea. Yeah.
So good to see those guys back, man.
Yep.
All right. It's time for woke people to wake up and stop using the wrong past tense version of waking up.
Can we retire woke? Can that no longer be in the... Let's just move past that.
Well,
let's cancel woke, shall we?
Well, it's woke culture, man. Woke culture. Well, that's the thing.
Let's cancel that as well. That's okay.
Man, how much longer? Let me ask you this, man. Let's say that episode 9 does make 900 million. Somewhere between our number, 825, 900 million. Do you think that could be the end of woke culture in Hollywood? Because we've seen Dark Fate lose a ton of money. Episode 9 is going to make money, but that's not even close to the projections. I mean, you would think Ghostbusters 2016 would be a telltale sign that going woke doesn't work.
I told you, we're not going to get past this for 4 more years.
Yeah. But I think worst case scenario, I think if episode 9 made something like, and this is impossible, 450 million worldwide. I think woke culture would be over in Hollywood.
Yeah. That's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to make probably that amount probably just here. I mean, close to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you could see certain companies move past it. I'm going to tell you one of the other issues that Lucasfilm had, at least when they first bought the property. I've been told that behind the scenes, one of the issues was they viewed Star Wars in the same way that they viewed Pirates of the Caribbean as a franchise. Okay. Same kind of thing. It was just a movie property that happened to be a franchise. Now, a lot of the people that looked at it that way are now gone.
Mhm.
But from a business standpoint, that's exactly what they looked at Star Wars as being, because Pirates of the Caribbean was in the beginning, a very successful franchise, but they didn't understand the almost religious fan attraction to Star Wars versus just some movies with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been told that they looked at it as just they had another Pirates of the Caribbean franchise on their hands, and they put about as much effort into it as they did that franchise, which, by the way, has been run into the ground.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan. I think I saw like the first one.
no, but the
Just couldn't
first
get into it.
first three films I think made a bejesus load of money.
Yeah.
Especially the first two. But that's not. That means you have no idea what kind of property you really have your hands on.
Yeah.
You know.
See, Star Wars got corporate. You know, George Lucas was always a independent filmmaker. Always. I mean, if George Lucas was a part of like a major studio, probably the original Star Wars would probably never get made. And what happened was when he sold it to a company with shareholders, and it was corporate. That was one of the major problems right there.
Somewhere in the file system, there's a number attached to Star Wars as an IP.
Yeah.
That's right.
And with Terminator, we had to know one day this would happen. Because what happened with Terminator, James Cameron had this idea. But in order to get finance the movie, he had to sell half of the rights to it. And eventually, those rights fell from company to company that kept going under. And that's how you end up with the movies really post T2, because he didn't want to make any more Terminator movies.
Didn't he have to sell off half the rights to his ex-wife, and then she sold?
Yeah. Then she sold them to these companies. Started going under, so they kept changing hands all the time. And then I heard something about copyright law or something. All the rights revert back to James Cameron this year. But then I heard something about somebody to help him write Terminator. She gets part of the rights. I don't know, man. It's so confusing. I really can't.
Friday the 13th franchise is going through something similar right now, because they have what's called a 30-year law or rule when it comes to copyrights.
I think that's the same thing that Terminator's going through.
Okay, well, some of the rights reverted back to the original writer of the original movie, and Sean Cunningham, who was the director and one of the original writers of the original movie, and he also owned bits and pieces of most of the franchise throughout history. They're in a massive locked legal battle. That's why we've had no Jason Voorhees movies. They've been fighting it out in court for 3 straight years over the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise. Wow. So we will never get another movie till that lawsuit's settled.
Gotcha. Oh, man. Well, all right, guys. We've been going about a good hour and 20 minutes right here. I think this is a good point to end the show. And, man, this is a lot of fun. We're going to have to go live more often. Terminator, I think the second week, man, is going to show how really bad this movie is going to do at the box office. I'm predicting like a 70% drop off.
I think it makes $12 million the second week.
Well, it made 27?
I think the final tally I actually read was something like 29. It went up a little bit.
Yeah, 29. I think it's going to drop off 70%. next week. And that could be a disaster. And you know what? They're not going to keep that movie in the movie theater that long. It bombed in China. China's going to get rid of that movie quick.
They expected it to do well in China too.
Yeah. So the $130 million loss, if it's not making any money, movie theaters are going to pull it. So you can actually see this loss go up to, God forbid, $160 million loss or more.
It's going to lose like $50 million more than Solo did.
Yeah, and it'll probably take about 10 years to like break even then, because it's not going to be popular when it comes out on digital.
No, the messed up part is where it'll make its money back is when somebody like
Turner Network or something buys
TNT or something, gives them $150 million to broadcast it for the next 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And that'll be the only way, but that's a long way away though.
Yeah.
And they won't get that much, because I think the Star Wars OT, I think Turner bought those for like $225 million or something. I could be wrong. And by the way, those OT movies are not going to Disney Plus, because Turner still owns the rights to 2024.
They got them back. They got them back. They'll all be on there next Tuesday.
Oh, they bought them from Turner?
They got them all back. Every movie will be on there, I believe, except Solo and The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi's on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the reason they won't be on there yet.
Is Solo still on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Turner, they actually sold all the rights to Disney.
They did something. I think it's going to end up being some sort of a split.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I don't think Turner's going to let those movies go completely off of their networks.
Yeah, I think
because a lot of people watch those on Turner, believe it or not.
I still, when they're on, I just turn them on and leave it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it probably won't be completely gone.
There, just the other day, even though I own it, I just watched it. I turned it on, left it on.
I'm pretty sure that Disney really doesn't even care if Last Jedi is on Disney Plus or Solo.
I certainly don't care if it's on there or not. So
yeah,
I'm thinking of making the Last Jedi watch party though.
No, we're not doing that again.
An annual tradition on my.
No, I won't be there, man. I cannot do it.
We'll bring back dog.
Man, I can't do it, man.
Annual tradition, annual YouTube tradition.
I cannot watch that movie again, man.
We may have to drink or something.
There's gonna be no weed. I am not watching that movie again, man. That was brutal last time we did it.
We'll have to pick some other shitty movie.
That was brutal. I'm not doing that again. I can't make it through Last Jedi again. I'm never watching that movie again.
We wanted to do a bunch of watch parties. We were supposed to do one for Terminator Salvation, in fact.
Yeah. Is that on Netflix still? It used to be.
I think it's finally off of there.
Oh, okay. I own it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I own it on Blu-ray. But I don't think my Mac doesn't have a Blu-ray slot anymore, so
we'll look around at what's on there. There's got to be something good that we love that will get some attention. So
yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Netflix. There's still going to be a lot of stuff. The Last Jedi live stream, it will be on Rose's channel. Which day is it going to be? I'm not Last Jedi. I mean, I'm sorry, Mandalorian live stream.
I was like, wait a minute, what nightmare did I just drop into?
Mandalorian live stream
next Tuesday evening, I would guess either 7 or 8.
Yeah,
because that's supposed to go live at 6 a.m.
Oh, 6 a.m. Okay,
6 a.m. So I already know my schedule. I will have seen The Mandalorian before I even go to work next Tuesday morning.
I won't. I won't see it until probably about 6 or 7 p.m.
Oh man, so we gotta figure that out so you can get it watched and then get on the show.
It's supposed to drop 6 a.m.
The channel the thing goes active at 6 a.m.
Eastern.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Because if it's 6 a.m. Eastern, that means I can get up at 5. Because usually I wake up at 5:30.
Yeah.
So I may just watch the episode then. But don't Don't quote me on that. Or maybe I can just watch it on my. No, it's going to be on Roku. I won't be able to watch it on my cell phone. I wouldn't want to watch it on my cell phone anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know the truth? If I could get if it was being released in the theater next Tuesday, I'd go see it in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Well, thank everyone for joining in. This was a lot of fun. Be safe. We'll catch you later.